Hello, dear students. Welcome back to another unit, Unit 7. We continue to speak about the life around us. We've already seen the plant life. What is the other kind of life around us other than the human beings itself? Yes, animals. So we have already seen that there are different types of animals. So this beginning session of our class will be a review and also a few new things. So what are the different kinds of animals? The first category is the wild animals. They are totally in the wild or in the forest, and some of them are really dangerous and they are useful to the ecosystem. And the second category is the domestic animals, very, very useful to us. Some of them are tamed, wild animals that are tamed. Some of them are animals that are used for us, that is, the human beings, for farming and for various other kinds. When I say the animals are tamed, in the olden days, animals used to be trained for circus, then animals used to be trained for rides. So they're wild animals, but they are trained or tamed, so they're not harmful to us, and they are used for domestic purposes. And of course, you all know that cows, buffaloes, horses, these are all domestic animals. They are very, very useful to us. Now, there's a small category of animals called as pet animals. Yeah, as soon as I say pet animals, your mind races to think about your own pet if you have one, or otherwise you must have seen fishes, cats, dogs. These are all the various kinds of pet animals. These days there are very unique pet animals, also guinea pigs, and some people have crocodiles, some people have stick insects as pets, and so many things. Yeah, well, we have learnt about the different types of animals. Now let's see, what do animals eat? Yes, animals depend on the other life that is on the earth, that is the plant life and the other animals itself. So the animals that eat the plants, or the plant eaters, are one kind, and the others are the animals that eat flesh, or called the flesh eaters. So let's take a look at the plant eaters. What are they otherwise called as? They're called as herbivores. Herbivores or herbivorous animals. They eat only plants. For example, cows, sheep, goat, okay, and then the giant panda, it eats all the bamboo sticks. So these are the mostly the plant eating animals. Now, how about flesh eaters? Flesh eaters, there are three categories. The number one is the carnivores. We learned that plant eaters are called herbivores or herbivorous animal. Now, flesh eaters, the first category is carnivores or carnivorous animals. Example, lions and tigers, they only eat flesh of other animals. Then the second category of flesh eaters they are called omnivores or omnivorous animals, and they eat plants and flesh. That is plants, and they eat the flesh of other animals, like for example crows, then pigs, then bear, then peacock. Those are the animals that eat both kinds. Then the third type of flesh eaters are called scavengers. They eat only dead animals. They eat only dead animals. So the examples of animals that eat dead animals, or they are called scavengers. They are jackals, vultures, then hyenas. All these are scavengers. Now, we understood that they eat these things for their survival. Now, how do they eat? Yes, each animal has its own way of eating based on the food they eat. They have what is required to eat that particular food. Let's take herbivores for example. Cows, buffaloes and all, they have strong, broad teeth. They have very strong and broad teeth. You must have seen they are always in the grasslands, nicely chewing on the grass. Now what they do, the buffaloes and cows, they have a system where they eat the grass and then later they bring it out and they chew. They bring the food out and then they chew. That is called chewing the cud. That is called chewing the cud. So that's how they digest their food. And of course, the next kind is the flesh eaters. Now, what is the kind of teeth they have? They have strong piercing teeth. That is, they're very sharp teeth. Okay, the lions, the bears, and the cheetahs, tigers, leopards, and all, they have strong and piercing teeth, so they can pierce, so they can hook onto the flesh and tear it. Okay, and these animals, they have teeth at the back, they which are the strong grinding teeth. The strong grinding teeth is to eat the bones of other animals, which is very a bit scary that they are dangerous, they eat other animals, but yes, they are very essential for the ecosystem. Yeah, so they are there. So what do they have? The flesh eaters, they have strong piercing teeth to tear the flesh, and then they inside their mouth, at the back of their mouth, they have strong grinding teeth to crush the bones and eat. So these are the two kinds. And then of course you've seen frogs and lizards. They have this long tongue and then they catch hold of their prey, that is the insects or whatever they eat. And then rabbits and squirrels, they nibble on their food. You've seen rabbits nibble and on the carrots, and then squirrels, also called as chipmunks, they nibble on the nuts. So they have the teeth, the front teeth are very strong. So and then the birds have, yes, birds have beaks, and each of these birds, if you look at it, you'll be amazed at the just the beak of birds which are used for eating. Some have very long beak, some have very thin beak, some are very fat beak. So all this is dependent on on their food habits and their nesting habits. Okay, so they are all having their own abilities to chew their food or pluck their food or make their nest. For all that, their beaks are very useful. Now we are done with how they eat their food. Let's come to the next topic of today's class. How do they move? Of course, you all know most of the animals have 4 legs. Okay, so that means a big category of animals, they walk and they run. Have you seen animals run? Yes, right? They run after their prey or they run away from their animals that are attacking them. So you must have seen lions running and then cheetahs running. Of course, so all these animals, most of the animals run and walk. What do birds do? Of course, they fly. That's their kind of movement. And all the birds, almost every bird can fly. Chickens also can fly, but to a certain distance. That's it. Then fishes, of course, all the aquatic animals, they can swim. And then the reptiles can creep and crawl. Okay, so that is how they all move. Now we will learn a new term called migration. What is migration? So migration is when an animal or a group of animal move from one place to another. Okay, a group of animals or an animal move from one place to another during a certain season. Okay, now most of the animals, they come back after this season. Most of the animals come back after the season. So this movement from one place to another is called as migration. Have you heard of migratory birds and all? Yeah. So they move for a season and most of the time they come back. Now why do they move? Good question, right? So one is they just move because of some harsh weather condition. The second reason why they move is because they want to have their young ones, or they want to lay eggs, or they want to have their babies. So they move for that season. And then the third kind is they migrate to find food. They migrate to find food. So those are the three reasons why animals or birds migrate. Okay, so now moving on to the tail of animals. All the animals have tails. Almost every animal have tail, and it is for a certain purpose. It is very useful to the animal itself. So let's see. Dog. A dog uses its tail to show love, anger, and even fear. Cow. A cow uses its tail to chase away insects from its body. A kangaroo uses its tail to balance itself. A fish uses its tail to change directions while swimming. A monkey. A monkey uses its tail to swing from one branch to another. A bird uses its tail to change direction while flying. So, did you see how the tails are useful to the animals? Even their tail is designed to be specific to that particular animal. Amazing, right? Yeah, we've only seen a small bit of it. There are so many species of animals, and when you start learning about each animal, we'll be amazed. Okay, moving on, we will see the next new term called extinct or extinction. So the moment you hear the word extinct, and if it's about animals, your mind will go to dinosaurs. Yes, dinosaurs are animals that are extinct. So what does it mean by extinct? That they are no more found on this earth. They are no more found on this earth. Their species, nothing is found on this earth. So dinosaurs, dodo, mammoth, passenger pigeons, and a few other animals are also extinct. And a lot of animals are at the brink of extinction, but the wildlife experts and the animal activists are very actively involved in protecting them. Save Tigers is such a movement where they're trying to save tigers from being extinct, because each animal play a very important role in the ecosystem. So if they become extinct, there will be some kind of a change in the ecosystem, some kind of a break or a disturbance. So that's why we need to preserve all the animals from being extinct. So we also, not just the wildlife experts, not just the animal activists, we can also contribute to preventing these animals from being extinct. We can, simple things that we can do is, avoid plastics in the in the trash. You can avoid, because plastics are causing a lot of damage. So simple things like that we can also do to do our little bit, to add our tiny drop into the bucket. Yeah, because little drops make a mighty ocean. So we can also contribute. So that is about extinct and how to prevent extinction. We all can play a role. The last topic that we are going to learn about animals, how they are useful to us. Animals are useful to us in many ways. A goat gives us milk and meat. A sheep gives us wool. We get silk from silkworm for our clothes, the costly clothes, moms or grandmas or our aunts and all wear. They come from the silk that is obtained from the silkworm. Next, a dog guards our house. We get honey from honeycombs made by honeybees. The lizard keeps our house free from insects. There are a lot of people who are afraid of insects. They don't do harm to us, but generally people are scared to see them, see the lizards, but they have some contribution. They keep our house free from insects, because like we discussed earlier, the lizard and the frog, remember, they have long tongue, sticky tongue, by which they catch these flies and the insects and keep our house free of insects. So next time you see a lizard and you're about to get scared, think of this, and maybe you might feel better. Okay, next. A cat keeps the mice away, and a cow gives us milk. And in the Western countries, dogs are trained to help visually impaired or visually handicapped people. So there are many uses of animals to us, and we have seen a few of them. And in the coming classes or the coming years, you will learn more about them. So that's about the animal life around us and how they are useful to us, what are their types, and how they eat food and they migrate or how they move. So these are all the things about animal life. So bye bye for now. We will see you again in another interesting environmental science video. Bye bye.